This week we're looking at Jesus' words in Matthew chapter 7, where he tells us how to establish our lives on a firm foundation, tells us kind of the secrets to withstanding any storm that life might throw in our direction. He said there are really two parts of it. Part number one we talked about yesterday, which is hearing his word and make sure that the word we're hearing is his word. The second part of it was putting that word into practice. A number of years ago, I was really struggling with a major life decision that was going to have a monumental impact on my career, my family, pretty much the majority of people that I know and love, really struggling with it in a major way, to the point that my friends knew that I was struggling with it, and they would call in and check on me every once in a while to see how I was doing. And I remember one day where a good friend of mine, he called up and he said, "How you feeling?" And I don't remember exactly what I said, but I think I used words like worried, anxious, and afraid. And then he said, "I understand why you might feel that way." And then he paused, and then he said this, "And which passage in the Bible right now are you thinking of right now where God gives you the right to feel that way?" And of course, there are none. There are no passages in the Bible where God says, "Wow, you should be really worried about your life." Or, "Whoa, this is way too big for me to handle, you should be really afraid." Or passages where he says, "You should be really anxious about everything." There aren't. There are, however, plenty of promises in the Bible that say the opposite, that say that you don't need to worry about your life. You don't need to be anxious about anything. You don't need to be afraid. God says that in the Bible literally hundreds of times. My friend was reminding me of how it is that we allow God to guide us through life. If we allow God to guide us through life, when we use his word to dictate what we say, what we believe, and even what we feel. So in other words, the next time, before you open your mouth and say anything, before you allow your emotions to get carried away in whatever direction they want you to take, really a good practice to get into is to ask yourself, does God give me the right? Does God give me the right? And if you can find a passage in the Bible where God clearly gives you the right to do or to say or to feel a certain way, then go ahead and do and say or feel it. But if you can't find a passage in the Bible where God gives you the right to do that, or if you can find a passage in the Bible where God gives you the right to do or say or feel something, and you go ahead and do or say or feel the exact opposite, then just know that God is no longer guiding you through life. Then your life is being guided by something different. And God knows how many different things are out there in the world right now trying to guide you in ways through life that are just going to make you crash in the end. And he doesn't want that. Which is why in the book of Psalms, he gives us one very simple instruction. Psalm 119, verse 105. He says this, where it says, "Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light on my path." God's word gives us the way to go moving forward. And following his word, in the end, you will never crash.